And we are live, beautiful people. It's Wednesday. I'm here with the father of DeFi, Reggie Middleton. I'm your co-host, Marlon. How you doing today, Reggie?
I am doing well. I'm at the gym again. I have a gym I go, so you know,
I see
pardon
you
my
about to make
casual demeanor.
you about to make me come out the shirt now. I got to show you my chest. My chest sitting right too now. I hit the gym too.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on that.
I'm just a skinny dad, man. It's just hot out here. So
we could turn this to a workout live if we need to. But yes, sir. So how you doing today?
okay.
I couldn't make it last week, so back here with you. Appreciate King for holding it down last week, and we're back to regular business today.
Okay.
And
So
then,
today, I wanted to. Oh, go ahead. No. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you good. Go ahead.
Okay. So today, I want to discuss crypto exchanges. Okay. Crypto exchanges are grossly overvalued. I think I've said it before on the show. We're going to walk through it a little bit. And also, we're going to remind everybody crypto exchanges are not exchanges. Crypto exchanges are broker deals. Okay. Or at least have a. And I heard there's this guy, Dr. Boyce Watkins. He runs the BFC, the Black Financial Channel, I think it's called. I'm not sure. And he says that
he was one of the first like Black literacy guys I followed back in the day when I first started to kind of get into finance a little more.
He and I are at loggerheads in terms of opinion. So, but no problem. You have to agree with me, my friend. I don't know him, but he's wrong. And he says, Coinbase is a buy, this several in his opinion, but it all depends upon your horizon risk profile. Fundamentally, I think that's off. And he was discussing NFTs and quoted that Bill Gates said that anybody who gets in NFTs is suffers. Okay, disagree with that as well. If Bill Gates did see that, and I don't know if he actually said that, but he did say he doesn't know what NFTs are. I understand what he meant. And I think he meant that what NFTs are properly recognized for and as in the pop media, maybe for suffers, but that's not NFTs, that's the media representation. But we'll get to that in a minute. So I sent off a medium early draft for the Coinbase report that I will be letting go public in a few days. If you want, you could discuss with the public. Well, I'm going to go off and I'm going to send the link to this chat out. So people who follow me have the opportunity to ask me questions.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and send your link out. And actually, while you do that, I'm gonna bring up that Bill Gates article real quick first, so we can kind of get that out the way while you sharing your link. And in regards to Bill Gates, I don't know. I'm a little, he's a genius. And it's funny we're talking about him when today's the last day of Internet Explorer being officially retired. So I guess he's losing one thing, so he got to talk about another. But here's the article right here from Market Watch. Bill Gates slams cryptos, NFTs as 100% based on greater fool theory. You can have an asset class. You have an asset class as 100% based on some sort of greater fool theory that somebody's going to pay more for it than I do. So I know this isn't the first time that Bill Gates has kind of, gave some negative comments on Bitcoin NFTs. There was one quote in here I wanted to bring up real quick. Where is it at? He mentioned value, and I want to ask you something about in terms of what does value mean? I can't find the quote now. Okay, here it is. So Gates reportedly said he doesn't like investing in cryptocurrencies because their value is based on, quotes, just what some other person decides someone else will pay for it, so not adding to society like other investments, end quote. Now, I kind of disagree with, how that's how you look at value. I think if somebody's willing to pay $100 for something, it's worth $100 to them. It may not be worth $100 to myself or to you, but it does it have to add or does it have to be a benefit to society to have value? That's my question to you, Reggie.
Well, yeah, this is the people who question value. Let me just get back to
Uh-oh, you muted yourself. You fat thumbed it. You muted, Reggie. Oh no, Reggie, you muted. Reggie, you muted. Let me see if I can unmute him.
Oh, okay. Right. Was that muted?
All right, we're back. We're
back.
Hear me now? Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you now. You start back over if you can.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Hello.
Can you hear me, sir? Can you hear me? I can hear you.
And we have a problem already. Okay. Hold for 1 second, because I can hear you talking, but I don't see you.
That's all good. I can still see you. Let's keep it going. Or can you hear me? You just see me, or you don't hear me?
You know, every single time we do an anime, there's a problem there. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now? Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Uh-oh. Technical difficulties, y'all. Just give us 1 second.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, I'm going to leave and come back in because there seems to be a problem with the audio now. Okay, I'll be right back.
All right, all good. I'll distract the audience for a little bit. So what's going on, y'all? We're going to talk about this Bill Gates comments a little bit more. But yeah, one, Bill Gates, Microsoft, we're not disapproving his genius abilities and everything he's provided to society. But however, look, he's buying up a lot of land. He's doing a lot of stuff out here. He's made comments on a lot of other things, but do your own research and have your own opinions. Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay. Right. Technical difficulties. Okay, so as I was saying,
good.
The price is what you pay for something, and the value is what you get. Okay, simple layman's interpretation of that price versus value. Okay, value is different depending on who receives it. For instance, I'm sitting out here in the sunny deck, goes out to about 93 degrees. I could be very pale skin. I'm willing to pay $40 for an umbrella because it's $40 is what it's worth for me, not this umbrella. You can be somewhere where there's no rain, no sun, constant 68 degrees. You'd pay $5 for the same umbrella. Okay, the price is different. Right? Times what you'd be willing to pay for the umbrella, but my value is still significantly greater than your value.
Right.
Okay, so that's a oversimplification of the value proposition and value versus price. Now, Bill Gates just doesn't know what NFTs are. It's quite possible. Very wealthy man, very accomplished man, and I believe they're very smart man, but nobody knows everything. Okay, and I doubt very few people actually sit down and read the code and the use cases of this stuff. They usually go off of what they see in the media. And if you do that, then you're going to be misled because most of the guys in the media either aren't financially savvy at the level where you need to be to value something, or not technically savvy at the level you need to be to actually know what it is. So a combination of the two. Or they may have all that, so not the media guys. And they have an ulterior motive, such as pushing a particular agenda, a particular product, particular company shares, value, etc. That's the way it is.
Right.
Saying NFTs don't have value is ridiculous. The law firm that was overseeing the distribution and assets of my company, the fraudulent from my site, with very overzealous regulator, in my opinion, actually served another entity via NFT, right, with authorization from a judge. Okay, so I don't think that they think it's valueless. They served them electronically, virtually, through an NFT because they said that the entity was avoiding service. So they airdropped the NFT to a wallet that he was known to have used, or the entity was known. And that was legal service, and the court's going to honor that. That's significant value. That couldn't have been done before.
Right.
Okay, it's just not aware of it. Other uses of NFTs, undeniable identity, self-sovereign identity. It's worth a fortune. Someone could take your passport, they could take your license. Can they take a private key and print your drawer? Got my, you know what I mean? Okay.
Yeah.
Another example of NFTs, a contract in perpetuity that can actually house capital and be programmed to divvy the capital out contingent upon the terms of the smart contract, of which was made with the NFT. Massive value. Bill Gates is looking at CoinDesk and bought yacht eight yacht club, etc.
Exactly, and I think that's what the issues. And I explained this to other people as well. All the Bored Ape Yacht Club and all these other big price meme NFTs, for lack of better terms. Those are small cases. I think, or more so of a marketing ploy, more so than a utility or actual application of smart contract NFT technology. So to your point, we're able to exchange value or to store value or information and data. But again, all everybody sees is somebody paying $100,000 for a picture of an ape smoking a cigarette. So everybody's always going to pick up on the negative more so than the pro use cases.
Put it this way, boiling it down to simple terms, Bill Gates said that anything that is unique is for suckers and fools.
Wait, say what now? Anything that is unique is for suckers and fools,
right? Or I'm paraphrasing, right. But and you can look at what he actually said. I didn't see it. What it boils down to is anything that is unique, right, and not easily replicable is a fool's game, which is nonsense. That means $1 is a fool's game. Each dollar has a serial number on it. Now, there are a lot of people who would agree that $1 is a fool's game, but it's not. But I'm just giving you an overrepresentation. Overgeneralization.
Yeah, and I think from his standpoint, you would think somebody who's kind of been a leading pioneer, and especially in the technology space that we're in now, will kind of be more open-minded. But you never know. We see people who state one thing in the public but do other things in private. Especially in the crypto space. So you never know. Could be smoking flames, but I can't find the one quote that he said also in the article. But one thing that he did mention was part of his foundation, his Breakthrough Energy Ventures, that they have a technology that's 100 times faster and better than a blockchain. A Bitcoin blockchain. And I need to do my research on that, because 100 times, if it's that much more efficient, why aren't we seeing that in the space now? So that's definitely something I want to look into some more on that. But that's enough about Bill. Go ahead.
With that, there was any detail, so maybe 100 times faster, but that's like saying, I have a rocket ship that's 100 times faster than. Yeah, but can my 2-year-old daughter ride it? So it all depends,
right,
on what the use case is. So usually the trade-off, the speed for blockchains is a lack of ability to censor. So you gain censorship, or you lose censorship resistance. Okay, you lose decentralization. Okay, so is his system, right, 100% censorship proof, or it's 100% censorship resistant and fully decentralized and fully distributed? Probably not, which is where the gains come from. So there's nothing wrong with that, right? Why are you comparing your rocket ship to a tricycle when you know that 2-year-olds can't ride your rocket ship?
Right.
So you have to make sure it has the same use case.
And to that point, what some of the stuff that I've read before, basically what blockchain is, you have a trilemma, is you have security, scalability, and I'm forgetting the third one. Are you?
The ship resistance, or not the actual term, but what turns me on most about the blockchain is the autonomy, censorship resistance, the sovereign nature of it. That is very, very difficult to come by in the enterprise space, because it's not necessary. The enterprise space is predicated upon trusting the other party, even though they can't trust each other. But that's it in a nutshell. Okay, but enough of Gates, though. I don't think he's being closed-minded. He's a very smart man, for what I've always been to see, but he's not. He's still a human being. So to be able to be up on all the new technology all the time is highly unlikely to impossible. So he's reading the media and he's commenting with the season in media. He hasn't went through specifications, NFTs, etc. I doubt so, very seriously.
Right. I agree with that.
He's still his largest investment. Has one of the largest blockchain infrastructure implementations in existence. That's Microsoft Azure, their database and server implementation for blockchain blockchain as a service, etc. Okay, but enough of that.
Let's move on. You know, so back to the exchanges. You know, we've seen everybody saying it's a crypto winter. We're seeing the regular quote unquote traditional markets and, you know, stocks prices falling. And with that, we start to see, you know, people starting to see a lot of liquidations going on with some of these lending protocols and things of that nature. But what we want to focus on is more so on, you know, some of your research with these exchanges. How do you want to start off on this? I don't want to give too much sauce. You know, I know you like to kind of give an appetizer first.
Well, anyway, everybody should know that I consider myself a pertinent IP holder in the space. I've been looking for partners to do business with, and pretty much been getting the door shut my face left and right. Not like it wasn't expected, but I was hopeful that people would be a bit more true. And think in terms of risk-adjusted reward in terms of decision making, but they don't. Understandable. So many people are now aware of the pen, and they are still performing actions that I think may infringe, and I can get a judge and jury to agree. Well, then we can use the conversation from there. So I will be bringing certain parties to court to sue if they continue to ignore. And my preference is to always avoid litigation. I'm saying that from the beginning. I'm saying it right now. Always avoid litigation. Okay. Now, that being said, that's my disclaimer. I need to walk through models of exchanges, and I'm going to use certain companies as exchanges, as models. Okay. They're models. They're examples. That doesn't mean that I'm suing anybody or suing them. That doesn't mean I'm targeting them. That simply means that we've done research. We know their business model. The information is available. We put it in a spreadsheet, calculate it, write up on it, etc. I want to make that very, very clear so nobody comes back to me and says, but you said you're going after, or you said you're suing. No. And if there's any confusion, just rewind back to this timestamp and listen to that. No. Okay. That being said, we're going to go over Coinbase because Coinbase is the only exchange that is public, and due to the information and reporting requirements of the SEC, we get more information about them and from them than we do from private entities such as Kraken and FTX US and Binance US, Gemini, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. That being said, most of these exchanges have almost the exact same business model. They're not really exchanges. They're broker dealers. Okay. Not necessarily SEC registered broker dealers, but they buy and sell. Okay.
Wait. Quick question. What's the main difference between an exchange and a broker dealer in terms of what we're discussing with cryptocurrencies? Okay.
So, well, in terms of the business model in general, an exchange is New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ, where you go in, right? There's risk where they put aside a certain amount of capital, and they make sure that each participant in the trade, right, can offset someone else. So if someone were to go bust or go bad, they don't bring the entire system down. A broker dealer acts on its own, brings its own reserves, their own risk management systems, and they basically put, as a broker, they put A and B together to trade. Or as a dealer, they use their own capital. So I use my own capital and risk it to facilitate a trade between, say, you and King. Okay. If they go down, the trade goes down. They act as a counterparty. They can potentially destroy the whole shipping. At least in the US, to my knowledge, things that never went bust and took the system down with it, or it's been very, very limited. I can't recall a situation when it has, but I'm not an encyclopedia. Okay. As for broker dealers who went bust, you know, there's been quite a few of them. Lehman, Bear Stearns, you know, et cetera, et cetera.
So would you say that
they were capped?
You know, with the situation we've seen with Luna and, you know, when them pegging their UST to Bitcoin and all that with the reserves, would that be the same thing as a broker dealer as well?
You know, I don't believe they're a broker dealer, but they did act as principals. Okay, I think they took on actual risks themselves, and they got drugged down to it. So I don't think they're broker dealer. You should actually ask a securities lawyer, but it is possible that they acted as a principal. Okay, but I don't want to get the technical in the weeds of this. I would just want to make sure that what is considered an exchange is not really an exchange in the securities world. Now, I also don't believe most of the stuff for securities. So this terminology is also off because they're not securities and they can't be broker dealers. Okay, but I'm using terminology that I think most people can follow.
So are you saying that the definition of a security is ambiguous?
Yeah, in other words, like I don't think it's security, and I don't think XRP is security. Obviously, I didn't think Berry was a security. Okay, but you know, powerful forces are trying to force all this stuff into, you know, a hole, and I'm simply using terminology that matches that just for the purpose of conversation. Not that I agree that they're securities. Okay,
right. I got you.
So when I say broker dealer, I don't mean that they're a Wall Street broker dealer and that these are securities. I'm just business model. Okay, because then I actually exchange with either. So I hope I'm not getting myself into the weeds. I'm not a lawyer. I'm telling my layman's interpretation, trying to get other laymen to get on the same page as I am. Okay, so with all that being said, now the exchanges as broker dealers or these entities who've been buying and selling and allowing people to buy and sell and trade these crypto assets have been collecting rents that they simply don't own. A lot of the stuff they've been using has IP that's attached to it. That's my opinion, and that's the opinion of other parties. We've been through this before, okay? I'm going to give you a little more granular detail to show you exactly how much of this IP or of this rent belongs to somebody else. So if you could go do a Google search on for Coinbase tokens offer.
All right, let me get down to Google.
Right. Or you can find it off their website. It might be faster just Google. So as you're doing that, I'm going to continue the conversation. Okay.
No problem. And you said Coinbase is offering?
Yeah, Coinbase tokens. Tokens you can trade on Coinbase.
Gotcha.
Look for the list of the tokens you can trade on Coinbase. Now, it is my assertion that our patent 566, US patent 566, covers Ethereum and as a platform infringes on the patent. Okay. It's also my opinion that the US patent 566 is infringed upon by Bitcoin as a platform as well, a network, and Solana, and on-demand liquidity, right, as exercised or as delivered through things such as Liquidnet or the Ripple system, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If I am correct, right?
So
if my answer is not correct, 1 second, then everything that trades on those platforms also infringe.
Right.
And those that use those platforms infringe. Okay. So keep that in mind as we go through this list. But go ahead, ask me your question.
Oh no problem. I had it up. I was making sure that if you could see it or not. But it looks like Coinbase at this time offers 10,094 different assets on their platform.
Okay. So the number one asset in terms of public current cryptocurrencies is Bitcoin. Okay.
Yep. Then we have Ethereum 2.
In our opinion, right? So Bitcoin infringes due to compensation of the miners. Okay. Through several Bitcoin improvement proposals. Okay, so basically, the DeFi component goes into Bitcoin, infringing a patent because the DeFi components were invented and patented by us. Okay, and so when the Bitcoin developers folded that into Bitcoin, well, then now Bitcoin as a platform infringes. Okay, Bitcoin is the number one generator of revenue for almost all the exchanges. It has the largest market cap, the deepest liquidity, and the largest mind share. Okay. Number two is Ethereum. Okay. for Coinbase, and I sent you a drafted report. Coinbase derives, I think, 40%, between 20% of its revenues comes from Bitcoin.
You broke up a little bit. You said 40% of their revenue was what again?
Comes from Bitcoin, roughly. I will have the report out, which will have numbers that would derive from Coinbase public filing. But from the top of my head, I think it's like roughly 40% comes from Bitcoin. So number two is Ethereum, right? We believe that Ethereum as a platform infringes on the patent as well. Ethereum is roughly 25%, 30% of revenues. Okay. Number three is Ethereum 2. I have no idea what Ethereum 2 is, but it has anything to do with Ethereum, vice versa. Number four is Tether, right? USDT. It's a possibility that Tether actually infringes because Tether is a tokenization of dollars, okay? That can relatively easily trip the patent, but it's irrelevant because most of the Tether traded is traded off of what chain?
What was it you said?
Most of the Tether traders traded off of what chain? What platform?
I think Binance.
No, it's traded off Ethereum, USDT. Most of those traded through Ethereum. So if Ethereum infringes, then all the Tether that trades on Ethereum infringes. Okay. So number five, USD coin.
Hey, and to pause you real quick, Reggie. I think it's interesting. So the Ethereum 2 that they have listed here is for the upcoming, upgrades and everything. But why would they have them already split up here? That's just a small.
Ethereum 2 is after the proof of stake integration, most likely, right?
Right. Yeah, it's supposed to be Q3 of this year.
Right. Okay, and that infringes. Okay, or we believe it infringes. And then USD coin. If USD coin trades on the Binance chain, or because we believe the Binance chain infringes, or Ethereum, or Solana, then it also infringes and infringe. BNB coin trades on the Binance chain, we believe that infringes. Binance, we believe it infringes. On down the list. Cardano, we didn't analyze, but I believe it does because Cardano is basically a S4. I know don't come after me, Cardano guys, but there's a simple, a really basic model that everybody's building off of. Solana, we have done an analysis that infringes. XRP, we believe, etc. So we go down this list. DAI trades mostly on S, etc. So first, the top 10 assets, okay, we believe the patent touches. So the patent is valid, okay, and we were to exercise our patent rights. There are three things that can happen. Okay, the patent could be invalidated and nothing happens. That is much easier said than done, much easier. That patent was prosecuted for 7 years, okay, back and forth fighting with the USPTO, okay? It wasn't given lightly, so trust me, it's been vetted thoroughly. The exchange can say, we don't infringe on a patent, which means either all those tokens, which we've done our analysis, we're quite confident they do, or they can say we don't use those tokens, which is going to be hard to prove because it's all over their website, right? The third, what we think is the most likely scenario, if we were to exercise our rights, and I'm not saying we were, and I'm not saying I'm suing Coin. I'm going to do a model of how exchanges are put together, okay?
Right.
And what their weaknesses are. If we were to exercise our patent rights, we can demand a royalty or licensing fee for the IP from Coinbase. If they believe it's too much, they can refuse to pay for it, and then we can go for a cease and desist, which means don't use it. If we win, they're out of business. Or if we give a royalty or a license fee, it could be reasonable, but no matter how reasonable it is still hundreds of percent more than what Wall Street figured it would be when they brought them public. And apparently a lot more than the Wall Street sell-side analysts think it would be when they did their projection models, because I don't see anything we read. Nobody. The only IP risk there is in the prospectus for Coinbase, the original one, where they said there may be some IP. There may be.
You said that Coinbase may have some. They stated that there may be some IP.
Right. If you go to there, there is an IP disclaimer. I think it's a prospectus or their annual report. But it was very non-specific, and this patent was filed in 2014. The SEC knew about the patent because they came after us. Okay, so it is what it is. Now, how much is Coinbase worth if somebody were to get a cease and desist on those top 10 products? Anything I traded on Ethereum, Binance, Solana, XRP, and Bitcoin, right? Take all that revenue away. How much do you think Binance would be worth?
You said Binance, or you mean Coinbase?
I'm sorry, Coinbase. How much do you think Coinbase would be worth?
That sounds like at least 75% drop from where they currently are. Just looking at price wise. So
you take 35% of the revenue away, and you would just get a 35% drop. Good luck on that one, dude. Right? So, and I said Binance by mistake, but just to show I'm not picking on Coinbase, Binance is about 10 times the size of Coinbase, roughly. Okay. What happens if you take the 95%, 90% of revenue away from Binance? Same thing. How about Kraken, Gemini, Circle, FTX? So you see where the exchanges have been brought public or have taken in capital. They've been making a killing on fees and spreads and transactions, etc. But they've been doing it without paying the IP holders proper due. Now, will the patents hold up? Some of them will, because some of them were very solid. I can tell you right now. I've looked at more than just mine. And I'm not saying that these exchanges are going out of business. I'm saying that they've been misvalued severely because the people who are looking into valuing or brought them public or invested in them, I don't believe did organic ground up due diligence, or else you look at the crypto world is almost fully financed and technology. I'm sorry, almost fully technology. It's almost wholly and purely IP. So how are you going to avoid high IP due diligence then? It makes zero sense. So 2022 into 2023 is going to be the year of reckoning.
So let me ask
the exchanges. Go ahead.
I was going to say, so I see a comment in the chat where somebody mentioned that you can't own these basic ideas. The patent is a basic idea that everybody knows and has been talking about forever. So what's your response to the claims like that that some people have against you towards your IP right claims?
Well, I ask them to cite the law that says you can't own it. Or you can probably hear me. Can you cite the law that says you can't own it? Or are you giving me your personal opinion? See, how you feel and what you feel and your opinion has very, very little to do with the law. And once it comes to intellectual property law, it's about the law and it's not how you feel. I feel I'm the most handsome dude in the world. You know, I'm sure there are people who may have issue with it.
I'm gonna tell you no on that one, Reggie. I got you beat.
You know, and it's perfectly fine for the second most handsome brother to have an issue with it, because I can understand that. But you do understand how that conflict arises, right?
Of course.
So, with things technical, financial, scientific, legal, stay away from your opinion and stay towards primary sources and facts. And that's not investment advice or legal advice. That's common sense advice. Okay.
Cool. Just wanted to get get some of the negative comments cleared up. So I know you see a lot of them, so just want to make sure that you get your word across. Now,
okay. But you can. I don't mind as long as they're polite. I have no problem feeling you, because it's not negative or positive to me. It could be disagreement or agreement. A lot of what people might see negative is just a misunderstanding. Saying you can't own this or that. The U.S. has a very, very deep wellspring of precedent in case law and legislation. So, either the law is explicitly or it's been settled in court over the last couple of 100 years. So it's very, very, very clear what you can and cannot own, particularly property law, intellectual property. Intellectual property is personal property according to U.S. law, very similar to a house, a car, or a skateboard.
All right. So let me ask you, Reggie, with with everything already, like we mentioned earlier, everybody say we're entering a bear market now. I personally think we've been in a bear market for the last couple of months or weeks, but that's neither here nor there. With your IP claims with these exchanges and platforms, do you think some of these will phase out? And of course, Coinbase won't, because they're the only public company so far. But do you think some of these other exchanges, wallets, broker dealers that you mentioned earlier, do you think some of these will be phased out and eventually you won't even have to worry about them, or have to follow up with your IP right claims?
Okay, well, it's like this. Number one, I don't necessarily give Coinbase the number one spot, the pole position, just because they're public. I think taking public money weakens you. It gives you more capital, but it also gives you a lot less freedom, and it puts you on the radar for shareholder plaintiff suits. Basically, you jumped in a pool with a lot of sharks.
Right.
A lot of sharks. And Coinbase, in my opinion, is in a particular jam. Number one, they've lost 80% of their share price from year to date, not from the IPO, just year to date. Okay, that's not a good look to begin with. Okay, so those who sold shares privately to the public expanded, and everybody else from that point on got rich. Okay, and then if someone
shout out to Nas.
Okay,
Nas, one of my favorite artists. Had to shout Nas.
If someone were to bring a successful IP claim against Coinbase, I think they're going to face more shareholder beef, because I know if I was a shareholder, I'd say this was not properly explained. That would be my opinion. Now, granted, I'm much more discerning than the typical shareholder. But it's down 78% year to date. That's not a good look at all. It really isn't. Okay. And if they get a class is formed, they get a class action lawsuit, it will compound their trouble significantly. And now, Coinbase would much rather. Go ahead.
No, you continue. I'm sorry.
If I was the manager of Coinbase and someone came with a credible IP claim, I would say this is a dynamic deal. Number one, this is a horrible environment to fight, because they have to have a large inventory of Bitcoin. Their revenues are based more solely on the performance of Bitcoin, not so much that they make more money when Bitcoin goes up. Incentive leads to more transactions when Bitcoin goes up. When Bitcoin goes down, it's the opposite. They announced they did a big hiring spree, then canceled those hires, and then now have 80% of staff. Okay.
Yeah.
So
that cut was nasty. People said they just got the hire letter. That people coming back from vacay, tried the law. Yeah, LinkedIn was going crazy. I was looking at some of those.
Starting to spend money they didn't have,
Right.
But that's not Coinbase's fault. That's theirs, so don't do that. But you can wear this is the last time you want to engage in a nasty IP fight. And then God forbid that the IP claim is valid. Okay, and then you have to face the potential for punitive damages and compensatory damages. Or someone who competes just says, I don't want you as competition, and shut them down. So you can see there's a lot going. Private companies have less capital, but at the same time. This is not a good time to be a public company in that position. But this is my personal opinion. I think I know what I'm doing, but practically the entire world disagrees with me practically all the time.
Right.
But
I'm
proven right pretty often though. So keep that in mind.
You got a nice track record like the 73 and Warriors. I ain't mad at it.
So this is not just Coinbase. So this is again all the other, because their model is very, very similar to most of the other exchanges.
Right. And then at the beginning of the show, we mentioned about Boyce Watkins mentioned, and I couldn't find the video I've seen a couple other videos, but I couldn't find the one where he mentioned it specifically to kind of get some more details about it. But he did mention that it was a buy opportunity for Coinbase. And for people who say, oh, buy the dip, or other people who say don't catch a falling knife. But in terms of, like you said, knowing everything about the company or just the underlyings, whether the IP infringement or who's, basically the whole model of the company, what do you say to people who say, oh, Coinbase is a buy?
Just do your research. Doing research doesn't mean do a Google search and then pay attention to the first thing that comes up. Go straight to the primary source. You could go to my 566 patent, read that, okay? Read the abstract. If you feel that's a little obtuse and it could be a little thick, just keep reading until you understand it. Just keep going over. You'll understand it inside. I've also go through my Twitter feed. I'll put a lot of tweets out that explain things like how, right? If you take a look at the Bitcoin terminology and the improvement proposals, how they basically improve Bitcoin and make it better over time, that terminology looks like it was literally lifted off my patent. It was the same. I put a tweet out that had a color coding between my patent's general description and embodiment description and information descriptions from the Bitcoin core. And I highlighted it in green, yellow, and red. Outrageous similarities. So you don't need to be a developer, a programmer, or a scientist or a lawyer to see there's similarity there. Same thing with Ethereum, okay? And so if there's even a 30% chance that my IP claims are correct, you take that 0.3 for the 30%, and then you multiply it by a 90% drop in revenue, or a much smaller drop in revenue, which just entail a licensing fee, okay? And then you have to drop your expectations by that much. Let's say, I can't do the math in my head. And then factor in the fact that I have more than one patent, okay? So if the US one somehow makes it, and again, one more time, I'm not saying I'm suing Coinbase. I'm using them as a hypothetical model to show how the industry, right, is not being valued correctly. I'm tired of saying that, but I know what someone's going to say as soon as this meeting is over. Reggie said he's going after X, Y, and Z. Okay, you have a Japanese patent, the same issue, and in Japan, you can't do extended discovery. They're not going to let you do discovery for 3 years and train some company. I think you have like 3 months, and then it's to court you go. So you don't want to go to court unless you're sure you can win. Okay, and then there are other patent holders. There's that popular guy that, what's his name?
You broke up.
There's other popular patent holders. There's one guy that everybody loves. He's really polite, and everybody likes him. He's very nice. Oh yeah, correct, right. Satoshi Nakamoto. Satoshi. Okay, so I'm making fun of him. Let me not beat him because but he does have a patent or two that looks like it might have some meat on it. He has like 53 issued patents. I think a lot of it is minutiae. 1 or 2 have a little meat. And then there's other patent holders, true return systems. Okay, very niche, but it covers data feeds into a lot of those stable coins that I saw in there. It runs through DAOs. So, and that's off the top of my head. And I am not motivated to go through every single patent because I'm not running an exchange business. You know who should have been motivated to do it? Coinbase and their attorneys. Right? And Gemini.
Right, the actual exchanges.
Yeah. The stuff they're going to learn and you're learning are coming from me. A so-called fraud who does it, a so-called self-employed, stock picker. I am good at what I do. Okay? So I'm going to put that report out. It's going to blow mine. The update to the block report is going to come out. It's going to blow your mind for the third time. Because the first one was mind-blowing, right? He said they're going to miss hard in the next quarter. Next quarter came, they missed hard, and we're going to put another one out. So each report has been hitting 100% right on target. Just like the Bear Stearns, we said that was going to disappear, it did. And Lehman Brothers, the general growth companies in the housing market, commercial real estate market, the European debt crash, Research in Motion, who made the Black Boy going bang, they did, on and on and on and on. Okay?
Right.
Read balance sheets, read cash flow statements, learn how this stuff works, go through the legal documents and stop taking people's word for things. Okay? They're not as smart as you think they are. I'm a real motives in the general.
Hey, I think people just they see the big words, they see them sentences, Reggie, and they get a little intimidated. But I think going through these times, we need
Pull up
to
Investopedia, look the word up, man.
Hey, look, we
That's
need
all
people
you
to
need to
be.
do.
We need people to be a little more proactive. Everybody wants to be spoon-fed information, but that's not how life works. You gotta learn how to make your own decision and figure out what's best for your perspective. You know what I mean? And when
Nah,
and
no, you
before
don't. No, you don't. I think so. Y'all don't have to.
well, I think that's why we got a president, right? No, just play. But when can the people expect for you to make those reports public? To the
Well,
the
the
updates
Black
to the
report
reports.
and the update. When I finish them, I'm working on it today. It might be out by the end of the week for Coinbase. You'll see. And Block
Okay.
when I get it done. It's actually a lot of work, and we do it for our own internal purposes. We also have another one, a sovereign debt contagion model, which is a real big one. I told you that takes over a year of work. So I have to put like 6 people on it just to get it done in 2 months. I'm considering whether I should sell these or not, because they are a lot of work, but we do have reasons to go through it, which I explained some of them a little earlier. I'm not going to go into detail. But if I don't put the whole thing out, I'll put summations out or put a bit by bit in, or I'll do it via video to get people to come and see the video. The stuff that we discussed is really hardcore and it's unavailable anywhere else. I have 20,000 subscribers to my YouTube channel, which is a shame. It should be 20 million. Okay. Now, the gentleman crypto has 22,000. It should be ridiculous. Hey, I think they do a lot of interesting commentary, right? And even if you dislike them, I'm on here. Okay. And I've done a crazy track record. The information I shared with you, not available anywhere else. It was announced right here in Gentlemen of Crypto. So I can tell you right now, the quality of information analysis doesn't equate to the clarity. And that alone is going to see a lot of these projects collapse, fall, shrink. It's going to drag a lot of value with it. And not just retail users. Institutions are falling the same way.
Well, people are afraid of the real, Reggie. They don't know how to separate the fake from the real. So, they're going to gravitate to all the buy this, buy that, and all the stuff that makes them feel good. But the stuff they need to know, it's kind of hard to come across.
Well,
but I will say,
good news.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Here's the good news. I think you're going to see exchanges change their business model. And so I think we discussed this at a previous show as well. Instead of trying to gouge, I think Coinbase gorges on transaction fees and spreads. They're going to find a different way to deliver, like Google has, Robinhood has. I'm not a fan of Robinhood, etc. Because gorging and then themselves potentially getting gouged by the holders of the property that they're using is not going to work. You can't show but so much down the throat of your retail users or your institutional users. So they're going to find a different way of doing business, or they're going to go out of business.
Right.
And the more entrepreneurial ones are going to find a better way, build a better mousetrap.
So, one last question, in regards to all this, what are your thoughts in terms of, like, I mentioned everybody, Celsius is in the news. We've seen BlockFi already get handed letters from different states for all these lending protocols and all these DeFi lending protocols. And I think Coinbase was offering APYs too. They probably still are. But do you think that those are going to be sustained too as well over this time? Because it seems like it's kind of been back on this type of business model.
I believe a lot of those lending facilities, when they're done on-chain or on-chain, infringe on our patents. I believe. I have to take a look at them. I haven't had a chance to. I have taken a look at Compound, and I have my opinion on Compound. And you see, I'm smiling, so I'm not gonna tell you what it is.
So does InChain.
So it's true. Oh, you mean in terms of yeah. So there's just a lot more risk and cost to this business than people taking it into consideration. A lot of money was made, but a lot of people act as if that money's going to be made in perpetuity. When the big boys show up and the real players show up, the early entrepreneurs and landscapers show up, you're gonna have to split the pie. And if you don't want to split the pie, then you're gonna be forced to realize that that pie was never yours to begin with.
Right.
It was
Hey, they're
somebody
gonna
else's.
take that pie just like Martin in life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, cool. Well,
Okay,
I
let's
appreciate the
let's
time.
go through some questions before you go, because I did
Oh
invite
yeah,
some people over. Let's see if they have it.
oh no, I checked in the chat, and besides the one I mentioned earlier, nobody's asking too much questions today.
Okay.
It was a
Which is
yeah,
amazing.
it was a small audience today. I think
Okay.
I think us missing this Bill Gates hit the algorithms. Only about 40 people watching today.
Okay.
But yeah, looking through the
Well,
comments, yeah, I
like I
don't see
said,
anything.
yeah, it's a shame that it's not, but we'll see. And in 2 or 3 quarters, let's see how the people who put their money in these exchanges, let's see if they wish they would listen.
Right. Yeah, they got time, so you better hurry up. And
okay, my
so
friend.
with that, Reggie, I think we'll go ahead and end it off. Appreciate everybody for tuning in with Foundations of DeFi with the father of DeFi, Reggie Middleton. And I'll see you next week, sir.
Okay.
Have a good one, everybody.